Whatever, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever may be the case. My name is Cecil Young. Again, I'm coming to you live and in color from Soundview Media here in Stratford, Connecticut. I'm coming to you live and in color because I want you to know that I've been coming to you for the last 3 years at least, trying to highlight my civil rights being violated by city and state officials. Well, you know something what's so good about today is that the Lord has allowed me another day where I might get a chance to get my name vindicated. I might be able to get the justice that I've been denied for 3 years, 19 years now. Okay, you said 19 years? How could you be struggling for something over 19 years and you still haven't gotten any kind of resolution as of yet? The reason why is because of the people I've been talking about, the power that they have. And the question is, how do you resolve a problem that people with power have that they control in terms of those folks who are behind the media in terms of the power that they have? And I say that is the case here with my situation. I believe it. I truly believe it. You know, they say if you see something, say something. I said something, and I blew the whistle. And I blew the whistle not because I wanted to, because I had to. I had to because I believe in right and wrong. And it was wrong for the city of Bridgeport to have these kind of contaminated dirt piles be dumped in a city health department building, behind the city health department building, where residents come in and out, day in and day out, coming to get their WIC programs, coming to get their benefits from the health department for years and years. And you know something? Last month, that same building where these contaminated piles came from, which was the old Bridgeport brass site back in the days when it was used for artillery and military stuff back in the days, I recall, if I recall it, and to find that same building that they rehabbed back then, okay, is finally being tore down last month because of what? It was a contaminated building that I said back then. In 2006. That was part of the reason why I got my job terminated from the city of Bridgeport, because health inspectors came from the State Department, people came from all over the state investigating to see if whether or not that building was sick. Did it have problems that caused people to come down with cancer and other things? And I said back then it did. Other folks said back then it did. And I said to myself, why is the building being torn down now? Why, after so many years, wasn't it not torn down back then when people were coming down saying that this was a sick building? They knew it was a sick building back then, but yet and still they allowed it to go on like they allowed these contaminated dirt piles to go on. Now here you have here with me State Rep Ernest Newton, okay? He's a state rep. He was a state rep at that time. He's now city council. And he put in a resolution, okay, requesting, okay, in April 8th that the mayor, all right, respond to my issue pertaining to my unjust termination that happened to me some 19 years ago. Now you say, how can you continue to keep on talking about something that happened 19 years ago? How come? Because it's taking me that long to get the final justice that I deserve, even though I took it to court. I took it to court. The attorney was at that time Attorney John Williams from New Haven. I paid him $10,000 to represent me on this case. And can you believe that after paying him $10,000, he dragged on and would not respond to my request in terms of what was going on with my case, John Williams. And I couldn't understand why he would not respond to me. Knowing that when you give a person that kind of money, and I've never given that kind of money to anybody, and to give that kind of money to an Attorney John Williams, okay, and he not show up in court as he promised he would, represent me like he would represent himself. He never showed up in court, not one time, And I'm saying it was sad that I could lose my job behind such a matter like that after I've been involved in so many issues that affected our people for years and years. As you see here, putting more police in public housing projects. Why? Because people were being shot down. Drugs were being dealt wide open. People lived in fear night and day in public housing for many years. But I myself, Cecil Young, was involved in trying to do something about that, and I did. I talked about housing authority woes. About raw sewage being allowed to flow into the basement. That is still going on in 2025 today, I'm sure, as it went on back in 2006 when I complained about these same conditions going on in P.T. Barnum public housing projects. Yes, we've come a long way in terms of housing not being what it used to be. That's why you don't hear the cries, you don't hear the complaints that you used to hear before, because the housing authority has been developed in terms of developing all of the housing, getting rid of the old housing and coming up with new housing, so we don't have those kind of cries of people talking about my conditions are so bad that somebody needs to do something about them, because most public housing in Bridgeport has been replaced. Over the years, we finally got them to spend the kind of money to give people the kind of housing to make them feel good enough, that would make them feel positive enough to want to cut down and be more conscious about the fact that crime is something that we all should be against. And they were against that. They showed that by showing that these same folks that lived in the projects back then are there now. We don't hear the gunplay. We don't hear the trash all over the place. Why? Because you gave them something worthwhile maintaining. You made a difference in their life. You made them feel like they're being treated with something new, not something that was left over, that was used and abused and was left as strapped for those of them that really didn't have nothing going for themselves. Well, no, they now are on equal playing fields now, where they feel good about where they live now. So you don't hear the Marina Village cries of pride now. You don't hear the green homes problem. You still got green home problem, but not as bad as what it used to be. But we're going to improve that too with the new father panic housing that's being developed, okay? All right, Trumbull Garden as well. We have come a long way, but we still got many more ways to go. And I'm saying to the city of Bridgeport, Mike Daly, the managing editor of the Connecticut Post, I want to commend this man who I've known for 30 years or more, who used to cover these stories about me, speaking about issues that affect our people in our community. And I'm sad to say today that as much as I love the Connecticut Post, because of reporters like Mike Daly, John Gilmore, Mike Mako, Sid Fosen, Linda Pinto, Bob Sawyer, Al Bennett, okay, all of those kind of reporters that were living and worked in Bridgeport gave Bridgeport what it deserved in terms of giving people like me a chance to be heard. To be heard about issues that affect them in our community. Yet and still, today, I can't get a word in the Connecticut Post, and I say, why? Why? What have I done to the Connecticut Post to cause them to not want to print what I got to say about what's been going on with our people in the city of Bridgeport like they used to do before? Why? Is it because they went to Norwalk? Is that the reason why they don't care about Bridgeport no more? For 17 years. For 17 years now. Huh? There ain't been nothing in the Connecticut Post newspaper in a long time. In a long time. Huh? Ain't been nothing in the newspaper here. Look at Joe Owens, the editor of the Connecticut Post. Another editor of the Connecticut Post would do stories about Cecil Young when I ran for mayor of the city of Bridgeport in 1977. Huh? Some 45 years ago or more. Huh? Look at me, Cecil Young, community activist, 30 years or more. Huh? Soup Kitchen in P.T. Barnum. Huh? Workfare program. Radio talk show host. Mayor Tom Busey's community liaison officer. State Senator Sal DiPiano, aide to State Senator Sal DiPiano. Community police liaison officer with the Bridgeport Police Department. Huh? Joe Lugal, state rep, aide to him, and many more. Huh? East End Community Police Post for the East End of the city of Bridgeport. These and many other things I spoke about for years and years in the city of Bridgeport because of what I care about my people. Black, white, Puerto Rican, Jew, what have you. I care about my people. Huh? And to turn around now, I can't get nothing in the Connecticut Post. Why? Because of these people here? Who are they? Who are they? Gerald Wayne and Mike Cohad, huh? Dr. Evan Jody Paul, huh? Mike Cohad, who are they? To have this kind of power to be able to get me to not be able to get anything said about the corruption and all of what they did to conspire to violate my civil rights, because that's what they did to me. Go to YouTube, go to Soundview Media. You will download the Cecil Young Show 7 days a week, Monday through Sunday, and you will hear me back up everything I say on this show today. And the question is, why hasn't the Connecticut Post wrote anything about what's been going on about me and my rights being violated? I want to know why. Connecticut Post, why haven't you? What have I done to you, huh, Connecticut Post? Huh? Brian Lockhart, since he's been the Connecticut Post reporter running and covering City Hall, huh? 17 years. Huh? He said Charlie Tisdale was the first African-American man to run for mayor of the city of Bridgeport. That's a lie. Cecil Young, right there. Cecil Young in 1977 ran for mayor of the city of Bridgeport with Mayor John Mandanisi. Huh? How dare he sit there because he don't know about Bridgeport and his people, and about people like me sacrificing what I've done over the years to help our people. Huh? Why? Because of my cousin Walter Edwards. Walter Edwards Pecan was a city councilman in the West End in Black Rock, 130th District, with Frank Babacos, Mike Mako, and a number of other politicians from the old days back in them days. Come on. Then you sit here and you ignore me now. And I say, why, Connecticut Post? Brian Lockhart, why come you won't cover City Hall like it used to be covered back in the days when we were out there speaking about issues that affect all of our people? And this ain't about me being black that he ain't covering me, because it ain't about black and white with me and Brian Lockhart. It's about right and wrong. And I say it's wrong for Brian Lockhart because he got in bed with the mayor in terms of the mayor giving him exclusive stories to make him look good and make him look great. I understand that, Brian. But what about us? What about us, Brian Lockhart, Connecticut Post? What have you forgotten the importance of taking care of the people that live here that would buy your paper? Not just the mayor that you're here to please? Why, Brian Lockhart, would you turn your back on the people of the city of Bridgeport and not print nothing about nobody? John Marshall Lee is one of the other persons who speaks at City Hall every month like I do. And I'll be speaking tonight at City Hall. 7 o'clock. I'll be speaking tonight at 6:30 at public speaking session. Why haven't there been any coverage at that place for the last 17 years, Brian Lockhart? Why? You can get exclusive stories, but don't violate the public trust by ignoring our cries. And you wonder why I don't want to buy no more newspaper. I canceled out my newspaper subscription. Why? 2 months ago. I didn't want to cancel my newspaper subscription because I love my Connecticut Post. I love the Connecticut Post. It made me who I am. It showed people that people like me deserve a second chance. It gave me a second chance to be heard, to help my people, and people like Mike Daly, who said Young's heart is still in the right place. Retired Connecticut Post editor Mike Daly, y'all know the man. He's always been good to the people of the city of Bridgeport as well as those other reporters. But now we got Brian Lockhart who come here and decided to say, I'm not going to cover Cecil no more. If it take me not covering anybody else, black or white, I'm not going to cover that no more. I instead sit back in the back and get my coverage from the mayor on the side and still make it look like I did what I was supposed to do. But you're wrong, Brian. You're wrong violating the public trust by ignoring our cries, the people's cries. I've been speaking out about our people's rights for years. Years I've been speaking at the Connecticut Post for years. Come on, Brian Lockhart, another editor of the Connecticut Post. Come on, another editor of the Connecticut Post. But this reporter, Brian Lockhart, who came from Stamford, Connecticut. They said he came from Stamford, Connecticut. Well, maybe if we got a little time and spent time with the people of Bridgeport, maybe the attitude wouldn't be so arrogant towards the people who live in Bridgeport. Because I miss my newspaper. I miss getting up reading my newspaper. And I was paying almost peanuts for my newspaper, but I gave it up. Why? Because somebody got to take a stand and say to the Connecticut Post, maybe you need to change these reporters after 4 or 5 years so that they won't get so attached to the mayors or to the governor to a point where they won't cover the stories that need to be covered. Because that's what apparently has happened here with me. Why? Why something like this could happen to somebody like me who you've written stories about when I had no power, had no authority, had no juice, had something to say, but couldn't back it up with so much. But now that I can, you don't want to print it. And I say, why? Look at me. Connecticut Post, Bridgeport Post, you were good to people like me and others like me. These are articles that I didn't pay for, but your people printed our stories because you believed in our concerns. You believed in our people's needs. I got laid off from the city of Bridgeport and the housing authority 4 different times. Why? Because I would not allow them to shut me up. Why? Because God has been good to me. And he said, I may not be what you want, but I could be just what you need. So you can turn your back on me, but you can't turn your back on God, because in however you treat me, he got something else in store for me that's keeping me going to a point where I can still go forward and tell the truth whether you like it or not. So let's tell the truth about why you haven't wrote about what I've been telling you about. You say you're concerned about corruption. You say you're concerned about right and wrong. What about Cecil Young and what he's been saying to you? When I was city sheriff back then, look at what they drew and put in my face back then in the days, I didn't get this because of who I am. I got this because of what I spoke about. People's rights, people's needs, being concerned, needed to be related to. And then you treat me like I ain't nobody. I say, shame on you. Well, that's why I'm giving you a general profile about why I'm here today. Huh? Now, I come to you today, and I said to you in April, what was it, April 6th, I believe it was, April 8th, Councilman Newton and Anita, requested that you investigate the unjust termination about me. They gave you a letter in writing telling y'all to investigate to see if the city was justifiable in terminating me. Huh? They gave you a letter to ask you to investigate the matter. Here it is, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months later, 6 months later, and he still ain't heard nothing other than his aide telling me, I'll get back with you. But they ain't got back with me yet. Why? Why? Brian Luckhart, look again at Cecil Young. You said Charlie Tisdale was the first black man that ran for mayor of Bridgeport. That's a lie. I, Cecil Young, whether you like it or not, ran for mayor of the city of Bridgeport with Sal and a number of other folks. Huh? There's the Mayor John Mann. You remember the Mayor John Manzanese? Come on, Brian Luckhart. Tell the truth. And I don't say that they need to rotate your reporters after a while with these politicians, but I think you need to. If you're going to act the way you've acted, to ignore this cover-up, to ignore this crime. They were given a second chance for the crimes and the things that they committed. And I ask you, I ain't committing no crime. I ain't creating no problem that I couldn't get out of, that I couldn't back up out of. And yet still you turn your back on me. I said, shame on you. But God is still with me. He's still with me because of what? This Assistant Attorney General Mitchell. Thank God for the Assistant Attorney General Mitchell, who was up under the direction of Attorney General Blumenthal. You know Attorney General Blumenthal. I used to call him my Mr. Lincoln. He used to remind me of Mr. Lincoln because he had that smile, move, walk, and talk type of mentality. But I'm a little disappointed with my Blumenthal now because I come to find out that in 8, they approved my medical benefit that they denied me in 2006. And I wonder why come Attorney General Blumenthal, when this State Assistant Attorney General Mitchell found out that the state auditors violated my public trust by violating my civil rights. They violated my civil rights by calling my doctor's papers scraps of paper. Huh? That's what this Labor Board commissioner said about my doctor's notes being strapped to paper. Said the signature was unillegible. How dare they say my signature on my doctor was unillegible? Y'all know how doctors write. They're like lawyers. They write the way they write. But to cover up that matter, why? Oh, I know why. That money will make you do all kind of things. And then to have the audacity to say that Dr. Walters was never treating me. Dr. Walters never treated me. Well, you know that was a lie, yet until you tell it to the public that you said that Dr. Walters was never treating me. Well, you know that was a lie. Here's proof that it was a lie. You got paid, that's why. Mike Cohead, you got paid twice. You were part of the termination board. And you knew my medical benefits should have been honored because you knew as a person who was involved in the termination board, I wouldn't have been terminated. I would have never had a problem with medical problems. Yet and still you sat quietly and didn't say nothing. Why? Because you got paid $225 the first hearing you had about if whether or not was the medical benefits taken unjustly. You know it was because you was a part of that. You got paid, Mike Cohead. Look at here. He got paid. What are he going to do about it, huh? Attorney General Tongue said he don't know nothing about this stuff. He don't know nothing about this stuff. Well, I want him to know that I got the files and the numbers on my case pertaining to what this Assistant Attorney General Mitchell put together and had the state auditors give him their findings. And the state auditors gave their findings within a year's time. Within a year's time, and the question is, what was their findings? And you say you can't find it, you don't know what happened to them. Well, I'm going to got you to know. I got a copy. And I'm going to send you a copy of it. Because I want these people to pay back what they took. Gerald Wayner, you got paid $875. Gerald Wayner got paid $875. Why? Dealing with my medical matter. He got paid $875, 3 or 4 hearings. Why? That's fraud. I want it paid back. Paid it back. You took it. And you're going to pay it back. Just like you took away my medical benefits when you knew I had a right to continue it, but you took it anyway. You took it from somebody who cares about people. You took it from somebody who cares about people, huh? Mayor's community liaison officer. Look at this letter here from Mayor Tom Busey back in the days. Back in 1988, he gave them a letter telling them that Cecil Young, as a community liaison officer, would walk and talk with the police on Stratford Avenue. Superintendent Walsh at the time gave him a letter telling them, give him the power to walk with these officers to make our neighborhoods safe. To make a difference in our neighborhoods. And these were not the officers that I was working with at the time. These are my green home details that when I was supervising police details for the Housing Authority. But this letter here was in 1988. I tried to do the same thing on Stratford Avenue when there was people getting killed and shot up on Stratford Avenue. I came out there night after night, day after day, and I tried to get something done about trying to protect our people who were living in fear. And what did I do? Get shattered and disrespected and insulted. But that's all right. But because God had my back, I went forward with the community policing detail with the Housing Authority. And you go to YouTube, download the Cecil Young show, and you'll see that Cecil Young, whether you like it or not, he made these officers, not made them, he had them, and they were willing to do it. Sergeant and a patrolman, sergeant and a patrolman, sergeant and a patrolman, A.J. Perez was a patrolman back in the days in P.T. Barnum, him, Charlie Mack, and A.J. and Jimmy Cook. I had a police detail in P.T. Barnum. When he was the patrolman, he became chief of police. A.J. Perez. And the other lady, sergeant, she became chief of police. They all worked on my detail. You say, Garcia? Sergeant Garcia became chief of police with the Bridgeport Police Department. You say, now, crime is down. Why is it down? Is it because God had Cecil being a part of helping it happen? By getting these police officers to understand that these were people that loved them, respect them. All that they wanted to do was them to respect them and to love them the same way. That's all they wanted. And that's all we showed them that we wanted. And what did they do? They gave them the same love and respect that they gave them. And look at them now, each one of them smiling, gratefully smiling. And why? Because look at me up here, Cecil Young. What did I do with them? I had them go out before they went out on patrol. I had them lay down and talk to me. And I laid out goals and objectives, goals and objectives. What was our goals and objectives? Was to prevent crime. Prevent crime. How did we do it? You say profiling, racial profiling. Now we profiled them. They profiled them. It wasn't that they profiled them, it's how they treated them when they profiled them. And here's what they did. They would pull them over and say, excuse me, are you lost? Can we help you? You going to Captain's Cove? Well, let me show you how to get there. And we stopped that disrespect. We stopped that out of control. We stopped that them doing what they want to do the way they want to do it. And I say to you, don't just believe what I'm telling you. Go to YouTube. Download the Cecil Young show on YouTube or Soundview Media, and you will hear and see in black and white. Right and wrong need to be acknowledged, need to be shown. And that's all I've ever tried to do. And I say to those of them that look at me like I'm your problem, I'm not your problem. Here it is my street on Milner Avenue. And Newfield, and what's that Orange Street? Orange, Newfield, from the top of Newfield all the way down to Orange Street. All this fence was taken, stolen. Hollis Avenue, all the way down to Hollis Avenue, fence taken apart, stolen. Had News 12 come out there to cover it. Nothing, never in the paper about it. Raccoons running our neighborhood, rats running rampant in our neighborhood. News 12 supposed to cover it. They covered it, but nothing was never printed about it. Nothing was never showed about it. Why? Talked about trucks on our streets, both sides of the street, night and day, motors running. They dumping their trash out on the side of the road, and we getting more rats and raccoons than we could ever dream of. That's what we were getting every day, night and day. Couldn't even pull out our streets without worried about getting hit by a car coming to or from, out of our own drive, out of our own street. Why? Go there now. We got signs up around there now on Milner. There ain't no more trucks there like they used to be. The rats and raccoons ain't running rapid like they used to be. And if they is, they're doing it undercover because they ain't like they used to be. Why? because Soundview Media showed up and apparently the public works director heard our cry. And what did he do? He put signs up on Milner Ave. Go down Milner Ave, go down Union and Milner Cross Street. You'll see signs on both sides of the streets. No more trucks. No more trucks. Why? Because we seen something and we said something and something was done. And that's why I say to y'all, let me end this New Year's out with you with a little song. So do you understand that it wasn't never about me, it was always about we. On my knees and I pray.
Come, Jesus, come.
Come, Jesus, come. Help me, Lord. Help me right now. They're stacking the deck on me. But I'm not worried about that now. Like Dr. King said. Sometimes I feel too. I know what you're talking about. But I know I'm doing the right thing. And if the Lord is with you, who can be against you? So I'm going to hold on. But I know it's going to fade. Watch it now. Watch it now. All right now. This is me sending it to you for your New Year's special. Bringing it to you live and in color with 5,000 watts of monetary survival.
Listen to the shows over the last couple of years. And I hope that you got something out of it because I sure enough did. And number one, I say I believe that the Human Rights Commission is going to do the right thing in terms of exposing the uncover the injustice that they did to me, so that others might not have to go through what I went through. And I want to thank you again, okay, for being a part of my program and giving me the inspiration to continue going forward. And maybe down the road I may turn it into a show, the Cecil Young Show, or something else other than just me and we about the situation pertaining to me. But thank you much for listening to the show again, and we'll be seeing you in the near future, I'm sure, with something else. And meanwhile, let me give you a little music from the hood. It's all good.
Brother. Put them on and let them see what it's doing. Let them see what it's doing. You didn't have to do that. You didn't have to wake me. Let them get the word and let them ask for it. That's all you want them to do. You didn't have to tell me this good, man. You wanted our vote? But you did. But God not going to let you get away with that. Yes, he did. Hey! Hey! Well, we didn't have to wake me this morning, but it did. Yes, it did. But you... Come on now. He didn't have to wake us this morning, but it did. And he said, what you going to do about this opportunity that he's giving you this morning? Talk about it, somebody. Call your neighbor. Call your friend. Tell them to tune into the Cecil Young Show. Live and in color on Soundview Media. Come on now. He didn't have to wake us this morning. You better thank God for the fact that you heard the word today like you ain't heard it in a long time. Woo. Come on. Woo. Come on. You didn't have to wake you this morning. When you ride by the cemetery, you wonder all of those folks that are laying out there in the Glen Yard. You wonder what did they say and they didn't say. What could they have said to make life a little easier for people like you and me, who are caught up and caught out? looking for direction, looking for somebody to reach back and pull them on across the water because they can't swim. Can't swim because they were never taught to swim. But I want you to know the Lord said he got some disciples that he's going to send to us in the very near future. And going to wake you this morning with a message that will help you help yourself. You say, why not? If you don't help yourself, nobody else will. I say, you got the power of night and day in your hand. I say, what you going to do with it? I tell you what I'm doing mine. I'm going to share it. I'm happy that I can share it. Woo, watch it now. Watch it now. Watch mine. Look at mine. I know mine can move up so big like that. Ooh, but that's all right. He didn't have to wake me this morning. And I'm taking advantage of what God has allowed me to say to you today. He said, I've given you overwhelming evidence that this man is innocent. This is an innocent man. You persecute him just like you persecuted Jesus Christ. He's one of his disciples who was called out of the wilderness to let you know that even though he may be gone in the spirit, his spirit still lives on people like you and me. And he said, watch out, for the best is yet to come. Woo! Ha, ha, ha. Ooh. Ha, ooh. Midnight away, I'll be down away this morning. I said, what's in your hand, young man? I ain't got that much. But what I do got, I'm going to use it. I'm going to use it before I lose it. Yes. He going to do it. I say he going to do it. Ooh. Oh, I say he didn't have to wake you this morning. It's up to you what you do, what he gave you to use. If you use it, that's on you. You can use it or lose it. Come on. Don't blame the Pharaoh. Blame yourself. You were once blind, but now you see. You were once lost, but now you're found. You say, if I could help somebody as I travel on my way, then my living shall not have been in vain. I say you didn't have to wake me this morning, but it did. Woo. All right. Woo. Come on now, Lord have mercy. All right, it's all good. It ain't cost you nothing but time. You never know what's going to come online for you. All right. Here you go. Now listen. He find no fault in me. I tell you, I ain't did nothing wrong. Listen to him. You better listen to him. Because when you know it and you don't respond to what you know, you can be judged accordingly now. I say, watch yourself. He find no fault. Why? I done nothing wrong. I didn't do nothing wrong. I told him that in the beginning, Lord. I tried to explain it to him, Lord. They didn't want to listen to me. They thought I was all alone. But I knew I wasn't. You said to me a long time ago. Don't worry about it, Cecil. I got your back. Mm-hmm. 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 Ha ha ha. Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm going to the judgment hall. Labor board, tell the traffic human rights, tell the truth. Pilate said, set this man free. He find no fault. I done nothing wrong. I told him that, Lord. Give me some water. I can drink my throat. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I find no fault. Yes, sir. Ooh. I told him I was innocent, Lord. They didn't want to listen to me. They called me a troublemaker. Matter of fact, one of the council members said, "Here come trouble." I said, "She don't know what's her name said. It's good trouble, though." Good trouble, not bad calling. Ooh. No, my Lord, help me. I tried to get there, Lord, but they took the case out of court. But they had that kind of power, Lord. But they didn't know you were working with me. Let this man go. I done nothing wrong. You told about done nothing wrong. Look at the case, Lord. They got the evidence. I'm an innocent man. You find no fault. I ain't done nothing wrong. I told you all that. Oh, Lord. No fault. I said he did nothing wrong. Let that man go. You know you did wrong. Let that man go. I find no fault. He said he did nothing wrong. Let him go. Send him back to Pilate. I don't want to touch that man. I'm not going to bear his burden. I know there's a flood coming. And I ain't ready to go out to sea yet. And if I do that, I know my days are numbered. I say, watch yourself. Pharaoh, watch yourself. You better let him go. You better let him go. You better let him go. Ooh. Couldn't find no fault. You know he ain't did nothing wrong. 6 months later, still haven't heard anything yet. Mr. Mayor, you say you want your license back? Give me mine right back. Vindicate me. Don't be ashamed to let those of them that you know been persecuted unjustly come on and tell the truth, man. You say you're concerned about right and wrong. You want your license back? Give me mine back. You just set me or judge me accordingly if you have the evidence. If you don't, let this man be free. You know the Innocent Project deals with people like that every day. Wrongly convicted. Wrongly convicted for a crime that they never did, a crime that they didn't know nothing about. You got the evidence to set me free, man. 75 years old. I'll be 76 April 6th, I'll be 76 years old. Look at me, Cecil Young. I ran for mayor back then. Cecil Young, fireworks. Be ready for the fireworks about ready to pop. Why? Ralph Sennimo, the mayor, and everybody else had a candidate debate for him. And we talked about it. The conspiracy that could backfire. You know that could be talking about you. You could be next. Look at it. The conspiracy that could backfire. It could be you next. Tell your friend, tell your neighbor. Don't take this man for granted. Thank God for George Cruz. Thank God for Clyde Nichols. Clyde Nichols was also almost got into a fight, matter of fact, with Councilman Newton. The Clyde had said one day at the meeting, Newton ain't gonna do nothing for you, Cecil. He said it at the meeting. Newton got mad, jumped off the council table, went rushing out to the hall and ran up in Clyde's face and said, "Clyde, you said I ain't a man of my word, I am." Clyde said, "Get out of my face, boy." Running up in my face like that. What's wrong with you? Huh? Clyde, I said, Clyde, give this man a chance. Give him a little time. And he said he's going to do something. He's going to say something. And sure enough, later on that night, I got a call from Reverend, what's his name, Reverend? My Reverend here. Our Reverend. They do a show with me. Minister Brown. Minister Brown called me. Minister Brown said, Cecil? I said, yes, Minister Brown. She said, Ernest Newton did say to the mayor that he wanted him to look into your unjust termination. The mayor jumped off the stage, went running like somebody was chasing him. You thought he was being chased? Ran so fast. I want to also tell you this before I end. Brian Luckhart, shame on you. I seen Brian Luckhart at City Hall 2 weeks ago, and I was telling him about covering the story. I want him to cover the story about what I'm going through. And I went to shake Brian Luckhart's hand. His right hand was in his right pocket. His left hand was loose. But he gave me his left hand. I took it. I shook it. And I said, thank you, Brian. And then I thought about something else. And you know me, when I think about something else, if I can say something else before my time comes to an end, I said something else to Brian. And I went back the second time. I said, Brian. Brian. Will you shake my hand again? He shook my hand again with the left hand again. Now, this is the second time he shook my hand with the left hand. I said, now, come on, Brian, what'd I do to you? You just give me your left hand. I took a little offense to that. But I said I'm going to pray for him. Because I can see he's been up under a lot of stress over his life. When to be a young man to see the stress that it had over him, that looked like it infected him, to a way where he needs somebody to help him. And I'm willing to help you too, Brian. All I say is ask him to give you a break from Ganem. Give News 12 a break from Ganem. Because Ganem is a nice, likable guy. But he ain't always a righteous guy. And that's why you need somebody going to be righteous, going to be fair and impartial. That's not going to worry about protecting the Pharaoh and his heroes, but do the right thing. Why? Because no one is above the law. Let's get down. Let's get down on our knees and pray. Master, those of y'all who know how to pray, get down on your knees and pray for Cecil to get the justice he deserves. Because the Human Rights Commission is investigating this matter. They contacted the governor. He's waiting on the governor to respond to his request. That's right, governor is being responded to by the Human Rights Commission on behalf of Cecil Young, and I thank God for the Human Rights Commission. Mayor Ganem, you being summoned too to respond to my allegations about what I said about these officials. You say get down on my knees and pray. I hope you get down on your knees and pray, because you know you ignore crime. You can be charged for ignoring the evidence that's been presented to you. I think they told that to Don Clemens a while back when Ernest Newman was going through something. They said, you can be charged for not turning over what you know. And they know because I gave it to them. Come on now. Well, I'm going to get ready to come to a close now. But I want to thank y'all for tuning into the show. And again, call your neighbors, call your friend. Tell them Cecil Young was in it. He's told you to tell your neighbor to tune in to the Cecil Young Show every day, Monday through Sunday. You can go to Soundview Media, or either you go to YouTube, whichever one you wish to go to. There's room for you. He said, I got 10 minutes. I'm going to give you 10 more seconds and 10 more minutes. But please do what I ask you to do. Do me that favor. So don't worry about what they're going to do to you. Get on down. Yeah, you can stop it. All right, y'all, I'm going to stop that, having my little fun here. You know, it's good to have a little fun every now and then when you're going through the struggles that I've been going through, but that's all right, too. But I want to thank y'all who have been tuning into the show for the last 3 years. And I hope to God that everything I said here today, that you will consider it, that you will analyze it, and that you will help me help spread the word to your neighbor, your friend, and whomever else is in the press, to let them know that this man's rights have been violated over and over again. And yes, I'm paying for this show to be aired 7 days a week Okay, I pay for the host, I pay for the production, I pay for the advertisement. It's coming out of my pocket, and I have no problem doing so. And I told the brother that when he get finished doing what he's doing for me, if I get blessed, I'm going to bless him too. Why? Because he's telling the Cecil Young story. He's telling it, and he's helping me to show it to all of those of y'all who had doubts about this man, about who is he? You know who I am now. I done gave it to you all in black and white. You know, it's one thing to be talking about what you're going to do, what you want to do. I ain't a going to do or want to do. I'm a doer. You see it in black and white. I've given it to you tonight, and I say to you, don't respect me because of what I said. Respect me because of what I've shown you, the overwhelming evidence. And I say it's about right and wrong. It's not about black and white. That's why when it never came down to the thing called color, I never used the race card because that never was my cup of tea. I used it one time at City Hall, maybe 2 or 3 times at City Hall, because I realized I couldn't get their attention unless I said something out of the ordinary, something that they would cause them to react. And they reacted by banning me from using the N-word. And I said no problem with that, but if that's what it took to get me to be heard, and I thought they would put that in the newspaper, they didn't even put that in the newspaper. So ain't nothing I can say, ain't nothing I can do. They don't want to print nothing about me no more. And I'm saying, why? I want my paper back. The newspaper was worth it to me to have a newspaper every day, come to my house and deliver me a paper every day. I denied them from giving me papers anymore. Why? Because of Brian Luckhart. And I said, Brian Luckhart, I want my paper back. But I cannot continue to support those of them that are not supporting those of them that are trying to do the right thing. When your job as a public servant is to be fair and impartial, you ain't done that, Brian. And I say to you, cover the Human Rights Commission evidence that I talked to you about 2 weeks ago, that I talked to you about and explained to you about months ago, and you know about it because you back there every day with the mayor when he's having these sessions, and you know what's going on. And I say to you, it ain't got about me, Brian, it's about we. Remember, I'm the guy, Cecil Young, who saved Officer Tony Simmons' life when he was shot down on Stratford Avenue many years ago, okay, by a friend of mine. And yes, I took him to the hospital. I picked his gun up. I picked him up and dragged him into the backseat of my car. Bridgeport police officer, Tony Simmons, saved his life. Me and a young boy about 10 years old helped me drag him in the backseat of my car, picked up his gun, dragged him in the backseat of my car, took him to the hospital. They handcuffed me, locked me up too. They thought we had set him up. I'm not no set up man. I'm a righteous man. I'm like Jesus. I deal with everybody. I socialize with everybody. Anyone who's willing to talk to me, I'm willing to talk to them. Anybody that need help, if I can help them, I'm going to help them. That the Lord said, if I can help somebody as I travel along my way, then he said my living had not been in vain. So I want you to know tonight's show, keep that in mind, because you can be the next one that can do what I tried to do, which is get them to hear my message, get them to hear the story about Cecil Young being persecuted, a modern-day lynching. They modern-day lynch me without a pen, with a pen instead of a rope. They're using pen now to take care of people like you and me. Come on, y'all. What more do we got to do to be set free? Help me, help you, help yourself. Until the next time, may God be with you. Peace. See you next time.